NFL Live. We are, believe it or not, a week away from the NFL Draft. Jason McCourty is in the house. Mina Kimes is here as well. Others joining in a bit, but we want to get right to the drama in New York, where Giants All-Pro defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence requested a trade last week. And listen to this from his teammate Brian Burns, who told the New York Post yesterday, and I quote, "Speaking for me, the Giants ain't the Giants without number 97 in the middle." So we are going to figure that out to keep him here regardless, I hope. That's my boy. I don't want to play this season or any other season without him. Okay, so J-Mac, Mina, let's weigh in on this. I think it's so interesting because Burns had 16 and a half sacks last season, right? And I see that Chase is with us as well. Hey, there you go. Good to have you with us, Chase.
We're good.
All right. So, we have people joining the party gradually here. We have Brian Burns, who has 16 and a half sacks. We know that Sexy Dexy only had half a sack. And so obviously, that's something that might play into the negotiations. But essentially what Burns is saying, right, is he wouldn't have had the year he had without his pal there.
Absolutely. Dexter Lawrence probably is double teamed more than anybody in the NFL, with people trying to not allow him to get to the quarterback at that interior position. But when you're as good as he is, the expectation is extremely high. So when the numbers are down for the Giants, they're going to look at that and they're going to use it as a negotiation tactic. They don't want to give him a ton more money coming off the season that he came off of. I think the question the Giants have to ask themselves is, do we believe Dexter Lawrence is going to get back to an elite all-pro level? And I would say absolutely. And with that in mind, you have to figure out a way to get him more money, because it's going to help the guys around him, to what Brian Burns is saying, and Dexter Lawrence getting those 8-9 sacks a season, which I think he's going to get back to, and stopping the run, something the Giants struggled with last year. They absolutely need 97 on that team.
Yeah, he's an absolute interior wrecking ball. I mean, the dude is massive, Sexy Dexy, as everyone likes to call him. Not only are you going to lose his production on the field, right? Like you were saying, double teamed. We had this rule, J-Mac, and I'm sure you heard of it. It's called the Aaron Donald rule. And every time we were in production meetings or in meetings with Sean Payton and Andy Reid, in protection meetings, you would go up there and you'd be like, hey, we have to slide the offensive line to a 3-tech. And I'm telling you, the only time we ever did it was for Aaron Donald. So that opens up Brian Burns, like he said, on the side. I mean, Brian Burns was saying, hey, the Giants ain't the Giants without 97 in the middle. And I would agree. And so when you have an interior plug like that, it's just so hard to lose, because it opens up everyone else to get theirs. And I've been in these meetings with the Aaron Donald plan, and it just completely ruins. I don't even care if you're blitzing. You're going to have the running back step up in protection and block him and just say, hey, we'd rather get 4 hands or 2 guys on Dexter Lawrence. This is the type of player he is. So I really do hope he stays there, because he is a very, very important part and piece of that Giants organization.
Yeah, but they say that these negotiations are at an impasse. So, Mina, who should be on the phone calling the Giants?
I mean, over half the NFL, quite frankly. I could throw out a bunch of teams: Bears, Vikings, the Texans. But for me, the one that makes the most sense in terms of need, timeline, resources is the LA Chargers. You guys talked about what he does, his importance on that defensive line. Perfect fit there, 3-4, playing the nose. The double teams, even last year in a down year in terms of pass rush production, he was still the second most double teamed player in football, over 71% of the time, according to ESPN's tracking. And that's all the more remarkable when you consider the edge rushers they had in New York, right? But offensive lines were so concerned about Dexter Lawrence. Obviously, that would open up opportunities for Tuli Tuipulotu and Khalil Mack, who came back. The other thing, though, is timeline and money. Money-wise, the Chargers, they still have a ton of cap space this year, the third. They are top 5 in cap space next year. So if he wants a new contract, they can get it done. And timeline-wise, they need to get over the hump in the playoffs. To me, he would be an instantly impactful and important piece in that regard. So if I'm the Chargers, I really aggressively make a play.
And Mina, speaking of timelines, with the draft is literally a week away, so you've got to replace that piece. right? If you don't plan on having Dexter Lawrence there, how does this affect the Giants draft in your estimation?
And that'll be something they have to figure out, whether a Dexter Lawrence trade, if it is going to happen, that may not happen until after the draft. So they may not be going in with the thought of right away replacing a guy like Dexter Lawrence, not knowing that scenario. You think about it for them with that 5th pick. What happens with Jeremiah Love? Is he still in play?
Sure.
I look at it, I'm a defensive guy. So guys like Caleb Downs, like Sonny Styles, like those are the type of players that I'm saying, hey, if I'm John Harbaugh, I want to bring somebody in right now that's going to set the tone and tempo for my football team. And on the defensive side of the ball, getting either of those two guys or like a quarterback of the defense, which is going to go a long way.
Wait. If Love is on the board, you're saying pass him up for Styles or Downs, right? If Love is sitting there.
I love the defense side of the ball.
All right.
So, hey, give me either one of those guys from Ohio State, and I'm all good.
Okay, Chase, what do you think?
Well, I mean, look, spoken like a true defensive guy, I'm with you.
Exactly.
And these guys are really good, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles. But if Carnell Tate, guys, just hear me out. If Carnell Tate is there at 5 and Jeremiah Love goes, say, above to the Cardinals or the Titans, that's who I'm picking. Like, I was with Matt Nagy in a quarterback room as an offensive coordinator, as a head coach. His offense relies on these big, tall, acrobatic type receivers that are lanky, but like can go up and get the ball. And you're talking opposite of Malik Neighbors, and you want to make this whole offense about your quarterback. Like Jackson Dart with Cam Scatterboom, Malik Neighbors, Carnell Tate, to me, that makes a whole lot of sense, not only from his ability to go down the field, but his ability to work in the slot. He's still raw, and Matt Nagy loves to draw up plays that can move him everywhere, and I think this is something that he could do. So I like the defensive draft, and I can see that with Harbaugh, but if you want the best for your quarterback, I'm going Carnell Tate.
That's a really hard decision you guys have left me with, because you could really see the case for both. I also love that fit for Tate and for what I think Jackson Dart is going to be asked to do in his skill set in terms of pushing the ball downfield. I love how he complements Malik Neighbors. But I might actually lean Styles, which is wild, by the way, for me, because positional value, the receiver, you can get a lot more value there financially, opportunity cost. I just think it's a little bit more likely they can get an impactful receiver later in the draft after getting through this whole class. The delta between Sonny Styles and the rest of the linebackers and the impact that he could have as a force multiplier in the middle of that defense, a defense, by the way, that was absolutely abysmal against the run last year, that would be really, really helpful. Mina,
would you take him over Love if Love's there?
Oh, yeah, I would take both over Love.
Okay.
I would take both Tate and Styles over Love.
All right, this is going to be really fun, really interesting. And it is, Mina says, it's a very deep receiver draft, right? So it might be a little rich to grab a receiver that early, no matter how good. All right, let's talk about getting some help. Titans GM Mike Borgonzi spoke today. How about some offensive help for Cam Ward? Here's what he had to say.
I think you're always looking to support the quarterback. Certainly protection is one. Getting them playmakers is another thing. It's a deep receiving class, and I think the top end is really good. I feel good about the options that we have up there in day 1 and even 2 and 3. I think there's some really good options there.
All right, so the Titans have gotten some key pieces the last few seasons. Listen, they drafted offensive tackles in the first round in 23 and 24. Obviously, they followed that up with Cam Ward last year, first overall. They're looking to improve under Brian Daboll. They ranked in the bottom 3 in points per game and yards per game.